Guys, welcome to another podcast. So today we have a special guest, Jake. Thank you so much for being here. And just a bit intro. I would like you to give your intro yourself so that you can get more info about what you do.
So I'm Jake. My name is Jake Moore. I'm a videographer and film director. So basically, I do everything from music videos to adverts, events like the ones that I've done for yourself. But sort of all things creative. I mean, I sort of branch into all areas. Heavily involved in sort of music, but through the music videos, and just sort of always pushing for a little bit more and just trying to achieve a little bit more than I have the week before or the year before, and it's going pretty well.
Nice. So we have done two of my events, which was absolutely amazing. Really good feedback from all the guests, and they like the video. And thank you so much for helping me and supporting me with the video.
Thank you for getting me in to do it.
And we have more to go this year, right? So with this videography, Jake, because I've never ever done in a podcast someone like you, right? It's going to be most of the time it's going to be business, but this is also business, but some kind of different side. So how long you been in this business? So what are you doing at the moment?
So I've been doing it, I suppose, if you go all the way back from before sort of education, doing it for education, I've been doing it from about 17. I was sort of bouncing around different subjects at sixth form, and I was doing stuff that I wasn't that interested in, like geography and a few other things. And then I left that sixth form, and someone showed me like a prospectus, like of a different sixth form that had different options. And I didn't know that you could do film and media as an option. And once I realised that, like I was always the kid with like 500 DVDs at home, so like I was always heavily into movies. And I realised that it just struck me as something that, like that feeling of that's actually something I want to do. And I've never really thought of anything like that apart from maybe sports. So at that point, I joined that sixth form and basically started in film studies and media studies. You made your own films. So they give you a little camera, and like it was like a proper, you're talking probably 2011, 2012. So it's literally just a little camera you slot on your hand there. And went around making these films, and then from that went to university to do it in Staffordshire University, and it was a really good course because it was basically they taught you about films by letting you make films. So you'd write your script for a short film, you'd come up with the idea, you'd workshop it, and then you'd direct it, and everyone would crew on each other's. So like I learned all aspects because I would be doing the sound for one person, so I'd be doing like the boom mic and checking the sound levels for one person, then I'd be doing a camera operator for another person's shoot, and then I'd be writing and directing my own. So I learned all aspects, and it was a real sort of good learning curve like that, because then you can take it into your own work, and you kind of self-sufficient. So like what I think was good about that is now when you watch like my music videos especially, they look like movies, but there's one person in the crew usually. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily need all them people because I learned all them roles. So went from university to kind of come back home, and as a lot of people that go to university will find, when you come home, it's not like you don't just walk into a job. I probably thought I was going to walk into a job, someone was just going to come and hand me the perfect job. But it doesn't happen, and then you sort of learn. I think it's a good part in your life because it's a big learning curve that no one's going to hand you anything. You know what I mean? Just because I've got a degree didn't really mean anything.
Unless you do the work and you show what you can offer.
Exactly. And I think when you're younger, you kind of think that you've done the work by doing like this much, and then you don't really realise that it's this much. And
that's the start.
Just a little bit. And I thought I'd made something of myself by going to university, and I really hadn't. So I got home, and it was a bit of a sort of getting used to that idea that actually this is going to be a real hard, long road. And I worked for a few people on and off, like a label in Birmingham and stuff. But what you get within anything creative, I think, we're all probably businesses, but especially creative, because there's a lot of people that want to get into it, and it's quite hard to get into. There's a lot of people that want to take advantage of you and like offer you things that aren't real and stuff like that. And I think I sort of was so desperate to get into it, I fell for a few of them things, and then I really sort of went back to the drawing board a couple of years ago and said, right, how can I do this myself, not relying on anybody else? So I worked in a factory to buy my equipment, saved up a couple of grand, bought my equipment, and just basically said, right, I'm just going to do this on my own. started making music videos for some local artists, a couple adverts for some local people. A concrete business, Max Pump, gave me my first advert a couple of years ago.
Right.
An artist, CT, gave me my first music video, and then from there onwards, I just sort of kept pushing and got to where I am now, I suppose.
Right. Okay. Well, I thought like you did one of the courses, and then you started doing. But you went to university and did the proper course. And everything.
Yeah. So did sixth form, university, and then was doing sort of bouncing about, working for other people, and then I've just started to do it for myself for the last few years.
Wow. Okay. So, is there any particular thing that made you interest and like focus on this sector? Is there any, like, for example, there might be a role model or anyone like you?
I think probably just that it's the only thing that I can think of that made me feel like just like there was a kind of like a point to what I do. Do you know, like I think everybody has that feeling where it's like feeling accomplished. Like if in what you do, when you achieve things, you'll feel like I've accomplished this, and this is my goal that I wanted. And I think for me, I just couldn't find anything that made me feel like that's what I want to do. That's something that I want to achieve. And I'm very much a kind of person that, as much as I'm definitely a hard worker, I do know about myself that if I don't want to do it, it's much harder to get me to work hard. Do you know what I mean? Whereas finding something that I definitely want to do, I will work 24 hours a day.
You don't feel like working, is it?
And I'll give more than anybody that I know, like in that area will give. Like I will go to war for you if I want to.
Right,
but it was finding something that I wanted to. So
I wouldn't say then you're ready.
Yeah. As I'm sure you are. And I think it wasn't a specific person, but I mean, my dad was heavily into films and growing up and stuff, and we used to watch films together and with my mum and that, so stuff like that. But I think as a director, Martin Scorsese films really influenced me, like Taxi Driver and The Departed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one person I saw like an influence, I suppose it was just how doing that thing made me feel, just sort of made me realise this is the only thing that really gives me that feeling.
And nowadays that's getting more important, and people needs video and everything, isn't it?
Well, I suppose I've kind of, my journey through it has seen quite a big change, because like when I started it in 2011, you weren't using professional level stuff for social media at all. At all. Maybe you'd see a couple pop-up adverts, but it wasn't across the board at all. So when I went to university, it was very much, you must go and be a runner for someone, do you know, like on a big shoot, try and join the BBC and make them cups of tea, and that's not me. Like, and so that side of it, I was very much, even at university, I was thinking I'm just going to go and make my own films. And they sort of were of the attitude, well, that's not realistic, and it's like it's become more realistic. So I'm kind of lucky in a way that as I was kind of coming out and not knowing what to do, it's sort of social media exploded. And so when I've got my head together and my stuff ready, it was kind of perfect timing for people. Everybody needs cinematic content, and I think that's where sort of, if you do shoot something that looks like a movie and you put it on social media, it stands out. So
exactly. I totally agree with you, and there's a big changes with everything as well, from how it was before. Now at the moment, everything in social media, everything can changing in the social media, right? So tell me about your first client. How did you get the first client?
So I always see it as like two sides, because the music videos are kind of like one side, and then like the more corporate stuff. So the music video side is I go from after university, because I suppose that's when you're doing it professionally. CT is someone I grew up with, and he's a big rapper around here, sort of making a name for himself in the Midlands and in London now. And we basically got together, both been very creative, but we sort of went on different paths for a few years. And when I came home from university, he messaged me because it's in my work, and we got on a music video together. But the first one we did, I'd only just bought my equipment, and I was kind of I don't think I touched the camera in, it was like almost a year.
Wow, okay.
And so it was a little bit like, and it was new equipment, like it was like stuff I had never used before, and so it was a little bit rickety.
Yeah.
The camera was dying because I didn't realise the batteries lasted like 20 minutes or something, and it was just loads of little issues. And it actually never came out, that video. We did shoot a lot of stuff, but then like a week later we shot another one on a drag strip, like a race strip, and we got loads of contributors to come, like people who are big in the car world and the bike world, like 30-40 people there, and did like Fast and Furious style scenes where like the girl has like the smoke bomb and brings it down, misses, and it came out and it got like 250k views.
Wow.
And so it was a real like sort of incentive, you know, like to feel like, okay, this is done well, and the feedback on the video was amazing, and it sort of cemented, it was at that point where social media was getting really big, so it kind of cemented me as this is someone to watch a little bit in that space, and really pushed me on to do it. So that one went really well. It was just a hectic day all over the place, filming on top of these bunkers and stuff, and cars flying up and down, and then on the flip side of that, the corporate job was probably with the concrete pumping people I spoke about earlier. He'd seen that music video and messaged me saying how professional it looked, and would you want to do an advert for us?
Local or?
Local, Max Pump it's called.
Right, okay, but I think I have watched a few of your videos.
I still do stuff from now, and that's kind of like a testament to building them relationships, because I really appreciate the fact that when I didn't really have proof of adverts and stuff back then, he still trusted that I could take that music video style and make him something great. And if I look back now and look at it, there's lots of things I do differently, because it's kind of it's separating your styles. So like music videos need something very different to like corporate stuff, or like your event videos and things like that. They're obviously a lot less edited and a lot less aggressive with the edit and stuff like that. And getting used to that, if I look at my first advert, it was a little bit, it had some music video styles in there. But he loved it, and then I've continued to work for him, and I was sort of getting used to using my drone back then and stuff, and it was kind of, because it was a first advert, it was just do everything I could, so I was shooting everything, loads of footage, just to, because I wasn't sure what I'd need.
Exactly, so you have multiple options when you shoot, and you have to clip everything.
I mean, you can, if you overdo stuff, especially when you don't know what you're doing, overdo it, and then you work out, sort of streamline it later on. But they were the first two ones that I did, and they're both good experiences, really.
Nice.
Well, the music video started off with a bad one, but we pulled it out of the bag.
Right, nice. So, I mean, so it's been quite long you've been in the business, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think in now coming years in future, right? Especially business owners now. If you see business owners want to be actor wants to be business owner. You see the changes happening.
Yeah, definitely.
And everyone needs a videographer to do the branding. Even the lawyer you're doing at the moment. I keep seeing the video content. Everything.
Better call Mr. Khan.
It's good. It's good. So at the moment, how you're planning to advertise and branding yourself so that you can target a high level of customers like the.
So at the moment, it's very much through social media itself. So I run some ads through Instagram and Facebook, but a lot of it is kind of people seeing me tagged in stuff, or even going to the shoots themselves. You'll know, like from your events, the whole point of your event is the fact of getting everybody together, letting everybody network, and you talk a lot about networking, and I always listen, and I agree with everything you say, because networking is so key, and I think when you're younger you maybe don't realize that as much, but like one thing that I really try and do now is go to every opportunity, like even if I'm a bit tired and I've had a really long week and it's not like a paid job or anything, but there's something going on that I could be there, like say if there's an event or something and I'm just going to turn up, and maybe I'll meet some people, maybe I won't, but they're the places that you meet other people in your industry, other potential customers, and I think just knowing different people is the best way, because if your work speaks for itself, which I like to think mine does, like for example on your stuff, all the people that came to that will see the video, and if they like the video they might have their own business and they might contact me, and that's kind of been a very successful way of doing things for me. Same with like the lawyer you mentioned, Mr. Khan. I've got some opportunities from people just that he knows just from being on his shoots and stuff, and it's kind of that knock-on effect.
Right, yeah, I agree with you. Networking is very, very important.
Yeah.
Everything is there in the networking.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's say you are in an event, right? Someone newbie who wants to be a videographer is there. Having 5 or 10 minutes conversation with you, that's going to change his life. If he wants to do that, like your advice, your years of knowledge, everything he'll get in a 5 or 10 minutes conversation, and the context as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, networking is, I think,
and then
very,
I mean, if someone like that meets someone in their industry, and then I've got an opportunity for them, or someone else has say they've got an opportunity for them, if they haven't met that person, they ain't got that opportunity.
Exactly.
So definitely,
100%. Yeah. So I mean, so everything is going good.
Yeah.
Everything is going good, right? And are you full time over here, or do you we do other stuff? Or
no, yeah, full time. So when I made that first music video, I was still working. I just bought my equipment, so I was still working in a factory. And then as soon as I'd made that and it did well, I just couldn't stand it. The next time I went into work, I went from being like I said before, I struggle to do things I don't want to do, but in my head there was an end goal of buying my equipment. Once I'd done that and made my first thing and it got a lot of views, I went to work and I was just like, there was no motivation. My attitude just changed. I knew it in myself. I tried to say I need to keep this for a while, but then a week later I was gone, and it was just like I just took the plunge and just basically tried to get as much work as possible. And the first 6 months or so, it was like you're living on nothing. Do you know what I mean? It was, and I probably should have stayed at the factory, but my head just switched. And I think sometimes you've got to take that risk on yourself.
Exactly.
And I think some people at the time, probably in my family or friends, would be thinking, what's he doing? Like, it's a bit
making a mistake. You're going through a
little bit irresponsible maybe. But I think the great people that achieve greatness take risks.
Exactly.
And like you all know yourself, like everything that you've achieved, I bet every single thing involved a risk.
100%.
A lot of people wouldn't take, and it's like
I think that's the difference as well. That's the difference.
It's kind of having that. It's a brave thing as well. There's a bravery in there, because it doesn't feel good. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you're playing with your like.
You have no job, no income. What you gonna do?
That's what you got to eat. Do you know what I mean? There's a certain point where you're like, and that is the reality. Is there's points where I'm like, I put a £5 in my car, £5 petrol, and then I'm like, going to a job thinking, is that going to get me to the job and back? And like but I also think you grow from that, because
you have more of the option.
You
have to do it. You have to do it.
Exactly. And I think that's why sometimes when something's self-built, you see a different kind of greatness than you do when, I mean, there's greatness everywhere, and people that have money can still be great, that come from money, but there's a different level of like grind if you know you have to. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no other option. So this is full focus, everything I've got is going into this. So I think it's a different level when you're doing that. Tell me, now we touched on that point, right? Tell me, when you wanted to do it like seriously full time, what kind of support you didn't get, or who supported you during that time? So I mean, my family are amazing. Like, they've always been supportive. Like my mum and my dad and my sisters, my older sister, very, very supportive. And like, for example, my older sister, her and her husband, he was a mechanic, and then he just worked his way up to a manager, and then they bought their own garage. So they always help me with my cars. For example, there's times where I had no money, my car was broken, and I'm trying to get to shoots, and they've always like, he'll just take it in, fix it, pay me when you can. Do you know what I mean? And, and even when I'm paying him, it's just for parts and stuff like that. So there's always people, even when you do a lot yourself, there's always them people that have given you opportunities or helped you and been there when you're down, even down to like my dad, always supportive there. Like, even when there was points where I genuinely didn't really have the money in my account to go and buy food, he just turned up with a week's worth of shopping, like, right, sort yourself out, keep trying. And I think one thing, believing in yourself, but when you do have good people around you that believe in you, even if they're thinking, is he making the right decision, they still supported me. And I think that's the thing, is like, them little words of confidence, like, keep going, you got something, blah blah blah. And there's times where you're doubting it, but you know what I mean, you're thinking, am I silly here? But them people they're so important. Exactly. And these are the people you need in your life. Definitely. Who's there to support you no matter what, not only the good times but the bad times as well. And that's how you tell the difference. And I mean, how many people do you know that they've probably got a lot of potential, but they surround themselves with terrible people.
Exactly.
And it's like I've had to say that to a lot of my friends. As I've grown and changed, I've tried to pass that on to people around me and my friends, and like say like, what are you doing like this? You can't expect different results and you're living the same way you've always been living. And like you're hanging around with people that are doing nothing, or like things like that, or very toxic people, and you see people like that. If you ain't got support from the people close to you, then what do you expect from anybody else? Do you know what I mean? It's not.
There's a good I'll paraphrase, I don't know who said this, right, if you are struggling with your finance, your mental health, your relationship, everything, change your circle. Just change your circle, and it will change everything. I think I truly believe in that as well. Actually, definitely. You need to, doesn't matter how long you have connection with that person, but if he's draining your energy, right, if you have no intention, no plans, there's no point of staying longer.
100%.
Bring you down where he's at the moment. And I truly believe that.
I think there's people like that as well. You can feel it when you're around people. Like energy is a real thing that people have, and like I think a lot of people don't see it as like I see it as like a well, do you know what I mean, that's full, and someone's there taking from it all the time. And it's like, if you see it like that, and you're like, every time you give to this person that's just taking from you and just draining you, you are going to be empty. Do you know what I mean? And when you're empty, he ain't filling you back up. So like, or she ain't filling you back up. So I think I definitely agree with that. There's them people that will just drain you, and I think being around people that might take a bit, but they give a bit back, and everybody's on that same sort of vibe, that they're all supporting each other, and everybody's sort of, I think that's so key, definitely.
So during the video shoot, you have to travel places, right? Tell me something about the craziest place you ever been for the video shoot.
Birmingham, mate. Birmingham in general, to be honest.
Where was it?
Birmingham's just quite rough, isn't it? There's like, so I've been lots of places, but I did one in Manchester recently, on a gypsy site, so a gypsy camp, and that was pretty crazy. I had a lot of motorbikes flying around, and just hectic, and that, sometimes walking into them atmospheres is, I mean, my friend said to me once, he was like on about like, oh, I wouldn't do that. He's like, it's intimidating going into them atmospheres and that, and I suppose it is in a way, but then you're also sort of laser focused. So once you start, everything else just sort of blinkers on, and you're just doing what you're doing. So sometimes, I mean, the police raided that shoot halfway through because it was because of the bikes and everything.
And what happened after that?
They just got told, the gypsies basically told them to piss off, and they left. They left. But I've been on some. I think the music videos are always a bit more mad because the artists are usually living in some mad areas and stuff like that. But I suppose traveling to.
Do you take someone with you, or you just go?
Sometimes, if I can, but it's hard. I mean, it's hard to get people that kind of you're giving up a whole day, aren't you, to come and be part of it. And sometimes there isn't the budget in the artist budget to have multiple people on the shoot and stuff, and it's very. Some artists are very last minute, so it's like they're not very organised and stuff. I see. I'm trying to think of a mad story from a corporate thing, but because there's so many crazy music video ones, they always come to the forefront. I suppose crashing my drone on a corporate one recently was, I suppose not travelling, but I was drove into the centre of Birmingham, and then I was stuck in traffic for like an hour, and then finally got out. It was literally, I only needed to go down one street, but it was just, you know, it's just standstill everywhere. It was like a Saturday night. It was at the restaurant The Ark in Birmingham, and it was like kind of raining and a bit windy and stuff, and I put my drone down, and it said it had connection, so it had a signal, so I put it up, and when it doesn't have signal, it can drift off, and it lost signal and just drifted off and just hit this tree, snapped the camera and hit the floor.
Very similar thing happened to me as well when I had a DJI Spark, the small ones. I flew and then disconnected and it went off. Just went off. That's I'm like, they're not meant to do that, surely. But exactly, but I was flying in army camp by the time. I was in the army, so it might be because of connection and everything. It tries
to block it, doesn't it? That's I've had that before, where it's forced me to land, and it just started landing, and it almost landed on this woman's head, and I was saying, I can't stop it, like it's landing, you need to move, and she just missed her.
Right, crazy. So I mean, so what's your plan now? What's your plan for this year? Like, because at the end of the day, this is a business. You need to make money.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your plan in the long-term vision, the short-term vision? What's your plan with this business?
Definitely, the main focus in my head is always just keep growing. So like, it's if I looked back every 3 months, it's doubling at the moment, like in terms of size and reach. So that's where I want to be. I do have some things in mind in terms of just sort of goals that I have with it that I want to achieve. One of them is that through the people that I'm sort of meeting, you're meeting different people that have their own goals as well, which is always good. And so I want to open like a filming studio in Birmingham, but also with a music studio inside. So you'd basically have the best of both worlds. So I know a few producers and music managers now. Nimrod Randall, he's a music manager, a really good friend of mine. Him and my friend CT, who's an artist and producer, so they'd handle the music side of things, get artists in to record, so you could obviously, they'd pay to record, help them with beats, help them with the mixing and mastering and stuff, and I'd run the film side of it, which would be a studio that you can drive cars into, control the lighting, and you'd use it for corporate stuff like fashion shoots, stuff like that. I really want to open something like that by the end of the year, maybe early next year.
Yeah, I'll keep accountability on that one.
Whenever
in my each event, how's it happening?
Where are you up to on it?
That gives you pressure. That gives you pressure.
But
in a good way as well.
Yeah, and definitely in a good way, because it holds you accountable, and that's why I have tried to tell people about it, because I was saying to
but don't stop coming to my event, Nick.
You won't see it again now. But like, he said he was going to do that. But yeah, I told my girlfriend about it, and I said, I always tell you, I only tell you about things that I'm serious about. And I said, everything I told you I was going to do last year, I've done. Wow. Like, and literally the main things that I said, this is what I want to achieve, I did them, and probably a few more. And so I said, I'm just letting you know that by the end of the year, at least the plans will be solidified in place for it to happen.
Nice.
That, and I'm writing a pilot episode for a series at the moment, so I want to do that, like a dramatisation, like a film sort of thing. That's also, I want that in production by the end of the year, sort of thing. So I've already spoke to quite a few people that want to be contributors and involved, a couple of producers, couple actors. So yeah, that's something, the other one.
You'll do it, man.
Yeah.
And it's very important, the word you speak, isn't it? When you speak, what you're going to do it, everything is very, very crucial.
Definitely.
And you just speak what you want to do it. So that will put you in a position where you have to do it.
Yeah, you're almost holding yourself accountable.
Exactly.
If you haven't said it because you're too afraid to say it, then it's a lot less likely to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I know a few people who never say what they want to do it.
Yeah,
and they're still in the same position.
Yeah.
Like only just like barely they say they want to do this, but they never ever take action or never ever say someone in front of anyone. And
that's it's like stuck in, that like
they try to hide from everyone, make sure no one sees me. Yeah, I'm over here. Just in case if I make mistakes, so make sure no one sees me. No one's there to
that's it. I think with our we're in a weird point, aren't we, where like there's a lot of anxiety and people with, I think that definitely comes with social media. I think without human interaction like this, you struggle. Like sometimes if I'm staring at a screen all day, I'm definitely less sociable, or I'm worse in social situations than if I've been talking to people and on shoots. But it is sad that there are so many people that do just want to hide. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to make mistakes. And I do think that comes from this like protection of
security.
Yeah, and you're never losing. You're never making a mistake. Well, no, I am. I want to lose. I want to make a mistake. Like that kid should lose. That kid should make a mistake, because you learn so much from that. Like I've learned 10 times more from the worst things that have ever happened to me than I have from the best things that ever happened to me.
Exactly.
Hands down.
Exactly.
And they're more crucial. If you said, would you take away, if I had to either take away the best thing that happened to you or the worst thing, I'd be like, take away the best thing that happened to me. I'm glad that worst thing happened to me, because it's definitely given me a strength and a
confidence. That gives you confidence, and so like tomorrow, if you lose everything, you know how to build everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That gives you confidence, isn't it?
100%.
And I truly agree. Like you need to show what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Like doing all this. Like for me, doing all this event, this never happened before in our Nepalese community. Never ever happened before. And now I'm doing it, putting it in front of everyone, right?
The stress that's involved with that. Stress. I mean, an event is a hard thing to put together.
Yeah, someone's gonna say, what's gonna happen, but doesn't matter. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And the video we did that made me like £10,000. clients, new clients coming in, because the way what I'm doing never happened before.
And shown in that way as well, and it's that confidence to say, look at us, we are here. Do you know what I mean? And that sometimes owning that you're doing great things, because sometimes it can be a bit awkward. Like, you could be doing something great, but you kind of still have that awkwardness about because it can feel like arrogance, and it's not. If you're putting in the effort, it's not. It's about saying, actually, I am here. I am doing stuff that's at this level, and people definitely respond to that.
Exactly. Whatever you show, the connection you build, the hospitality you give, you trust, and that's why I'm doing dinner event with my clients who have helped with their property and everything. I wanted to make sure to give them good hospitality. Right, video, make a video, put the video out there, making sure that I'm taking action. These are my clients. Everything's there, and people like looking at. Let's contact him. Even we can do this job by ourselves, but let's contact him. Look at the way
they can see that you bring things to the table as well. And there's somebody, a good person to know. There's every aspect of what you would want out of a person is shown through that. Your confidence, your ability to organise things, like everything is in there.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So I mean, for example, if someone watching this video, right, if they want to, like, they want to get into this industry, like, what advice would you like to give them?
I think probably number one would be is trust yourself, definitely. And if it's something that you want to do, genuinely want to do, like, I think you do have to have a moment where you look at yourself in the mirror and just say, is this something that I just like, or is it something that I want to do? And if it's something you want to do, you have to stop doing everything else a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I definitely was guilty of partying for the whole of uni, and like, I thought I could come home and party and still be handed a perfect job, and it wasn't going to happen. And it took me the long road to realise that, because sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, I'm 29. I was capable of doing this at 24. Do you know what I mean? I could by 29, I could have been further along. And I think people that strive for greatness are always going to look at themselves and think, I could be doing more. But that was my journey, and it was how it was meant to be. But for younger people, I think, decide what's important. Do you know what I mean? And if this is really important, going out and fucking having a nice time with your friends ain't that important. Do you know what I mean? It's important to socialise, don't get me wrong, but that shouldn't be where you get all your good feelings from and all of your sort of achievements. It shouldn't be like,
a really good point.
Because I mean, I definitely got the
number one thing you said is believe in yourself. Right. Believe in yourself, what you're doing. That gives you confidence. Everything. And what else do you want to pass the message?
I think I try to remember what I had. I definitely had another one in there. Is just to definitely to put in the work. And I was saying about trying to find not put too much of your energy into the wrong things. And like, I think if you realise from an early age that you can get them feelings of like the good feelings that you get from going out and socialising and all them things, if you can get them from doing positive stuff like shoots and stuff that's achieving things, I think realising that definitely helps to focus on that rather than focusing on the bad things. That's not to say don't enjoy yourself, but just there's about having a balance. And I think if more people tried to implement balance in their life from a young age, I think they'd be a lot more successful, definitely.
Yep. And the last but not least, the connection. Networking. It's key, isn't it?
Network. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Networking is something that when you're younger you don't realise at all how important it is. And like, my mom used to say it to me actually about networking, and I used to think, I'm not bothered. I'll find my way. But once I realised and got a bit older and realised how important it is and how much it leads to more stuff, that's the key to everything. Actually, that is literally the key, because if you don't know people, say you know one person, right, and you do a video for them, 99.999% of the time that person isn't just going to blow up and use you every day for their videos. So you need multiple clients, you need to know multiple people, and you will get better. You won't get better doing things for one person in one style, one atmosphere, whatever. So you have to meet all them different people and do all them different jobs, and you learn something different from every single time you do it, and you get better.
And I have so many thousands of examples, like where I'm right now, this office, I got because of connection, because there was 5 or 6 lined up for this office, but I got in the first out of nowhere because of connection, right? With you. from another person. I know that person. That gave me your number. Connection.
And for both of us, there's networking. It proved it on both our sides.
Exactly.
Because you needed somebody, and your connections led you to me. And I mean, I'm always looking for new clients, and that knowing Tyrone and that led me to you. Do you know what I mean? So
your example over here.
It's perfect. And that's I mean, there's everyday examples, aren't there? In what we do as well, we'll be experiencing it like what you do. You'll experience the power of networking on a daily basis, and same for me.
And with networking, people ask me a lot, how did you get into, because this might be a different sector for you, like for it's special because I was in the army for 5 years and I joined in 2017. So if you don't know, like there was 8 on every year British Army select from Nepal. There will be like 6,000 to 7,000 applicants. From there they will select 200.
Okay.
And I was one of them on 2017. I joined. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. And so after 5 years, I was like, no, I'm gonna choose my career. This side is good, but this is not for me. I'm not built for this. I want to go into property. And when I made my decision, everyone said, "You're stupid. You're idiot. You are missing this opportunity. 8,000 applicants. There were 8,000 applicants, and you got selected, and you are missing this opportunity. Why did you join?" And first, why did you join? You took other people opportunity. Like, no, I joined because I wanted to join. I really wanted to join. That's why I work hard, and that's why I joined. But now, I feel like this is not for me.
But that's part of the growing, and you would have taken a lot from that. So like, you would have learned so much. Like I've got a few friends that have been in the army and stuff, and it's definitely changed their lives in different ways, and they've sort of the discipline that gives you the drive, and even just to be able to do it, you're proving to yourself that you're tough, and you can do you know what I mean, because you need that in life. You need to prove that you can do some stuff that's hard to do. And I mean, I can only imagine how hard that is to do you know what I mean, and to get it picked in them 200, you must have been doing it to a high level. So
I literally tested my own blood when there was physical test where you have to run uphill 5 kilometer with 25 kg and loads on back uphill, or like in the middle. I'll promise myself no one will join this British Army from my family. I'll never ever let anyone to go through this. So like shit.
But then, I mean, them hardest moments are definitely where you find what you're made of, and then you also just find yourself a little bit. And that's why you see people who have gone through them harder moments, they're so much more comfortable in themselves because they know themselves. I know myself. Like, I've been in some horrible situations where I've had the moment to be like, I could fold here. Do you know what I mean? I could just fold up and just give up, or act in a way I don't want to act in that situation. And I've always had that little voice in my head going, this is the moment. These are the moments. These are the moments where I get a chance, and I actually enjoy them chances now, because every time it's a chance to say, yes, that is who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I think when I was younger, I didn't enjoy them chances as much, but probably because I was focusing on the wrong things, and it's harder to enjoy a challenge and to rise to a challenge if you're hungover and if you're not in the right headspace. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly. And the most you shouldn't be fear of failure, you should be fear of comfort zone. I agree with that. If you face new challenge, that's a sign of growth, because you tried something new. That's where you have new challenges, new obstacles, new problem. If you keep on doing the same thing, you will have the same problem, which you know the solution.
And then you get easy. It gets easy. You get
comfortable. Exactly.
I definitely agree with that. And in whatever you do, and specifically in my own life, like, to get better if I've made 5 music videos or 5 corporate videos in a month and they're all the same, the month after it's like the tired, do you know what I mean? It's just tired, your creativity is a bit lower, you're going through the motions, you're not actually living in the moment and doing creative stuff and bringing new ideas. Whereas I messaged Nimrod that I said earlier, I bounce a lot of ideas across to him because he's a music manager and he's very experienced. I sent him something and I said it had been a very challenging shoot. He loved the video, and I was like, it was a bit of a nightmare, it was very challenging, and he just sent back, sick video as always, challenging is good. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just reminding me, like, you might be feeling like it was a hard shoot, but that's a good thing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. That's a sign of growth. Next time when you see that, you are prepared. You're not scared. You're prepared.
And if as long as you stay the course, it was challenging and I got to the other end. That's the thing. So it's like that challenge was good, because the next time I do it's going to be not necessarily easier, but I'm more prepared because of each time I conquer the challenge, sort of thing.
Like for this, so when I got into property full time, I had only development building, buying houses, renovating it, or selling it, or renting out. Then I got into finding houses.
Yeah.
So I had that only business, and like, let's try something. Let's get mortgage broker in division. Then I have a mortgage broker now. Let's get solicitor. So the people, once they come to me, I find the house, mortgage is ready.
Yeah.
Now we need legal team.
You've got everything ready.
Now
for
get legal team. Now what's next? We need lettings team. Let's get that. So now I have everything in one package. And once this is fully ready to go, I'm gonna think about what I can do. If I stay over here, it's comfortable.
Where you can go and how you can build. And that's amazing. I mean, how many people are doing that? I don't know of anybody.
None.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody doing that.
And within like 4 months, we done nearly 30, and my fee is 3,500.
That's amazing.
So almost 90k plus.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Then just the start.
Yeah.
If I stayed with the house findings business only, I'd never done that.
Yeah,
with the risk level, I would never ever reach this level with that similar.
It's that risk, like we were talking about earlier. Again, them taking them risks and being willing to take them risks is what sometimes separates you. Do you know
exactly?
what I mean? Because maybe, I mean, that's quite an innovative and new idea, but maybe someone else has had that idea before and they didn't. Do you know what I mean? They didn't capitalise on it. So sometimes I'm sure some of the things I've done, people have maybe thought about and then they've not done it. So it's like it's about the person that can do it. Do you know what I mean? The first step is having the idea. Second step is taking the risk, and then you've just got to follow it through.
Exactly, because everyone have idea to make multi-million, multi-billion business, right? Yeah. But none of how many of them
when they're sat on the sofa, like, I could do that.
I had that plan, but you never took action.
And then they go to bed.
You dumbass, you never took action. Isn't it?
Trust me.
I mean, wow. Yeah, I mean, that was a really good podcast with you, man. And getting more about your side, what you've been through, how you are right now, what you're doing up to, really, really crazy. Yeah. And I really appreciate the time. And thank you so much for anything last thing you would like to say to the viewers?
Just to you, thank you for getting me on. It's been a pleasure coming on and just meeting you in general and doing the events has been really good. I've enjoyed them and look forward to watching your stuff grow as it is.
Likewise, mate.
Yeah, thank you. And then just I suppose just I know it's a bit of a cliche, but like follow what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? Because getting out of bed in the morning, some people talk about grind like they can just grind to anything, and some people can't. They can just grind and they can just put so much effort in. But there are some people who can't, and they don't see the point. And I've always been like, I ain't built to make someone else rich. I ain't built to make other people's lives good. Like I'm a nice person, I'll help, but I need to make my good self good, and I have my own aspirations.
It needs to be both win-win situation for both.
Exactly. And if you're just go and get a job in some terrible place and you're just bottom of the pile and you're making some corporate place rich and you're like, no one's going to be happy doing that. Exactly. Like, there are very few people that are happy doing that. So when you find something that you truly care about, you will find the effort. It's so much easier to put effort into something that you love. So I just think, I know it's not easy for everybody to find them things, but find things you care about, but whatever that is. Maybe it's teaching karate down at the, do you know what I mean? Maybe it's being a football coach or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be top level, but you can find the happiness in that. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Definitely.
And once again, mate, thank you so much, and looking forward to do more events. There are tons of them lined up. I'm just planning and everything, penciling, and I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. And I'll see you in next podcast.